Hey everybody, it's Sonja Lewis, host of UIO Podcast, the podcast for teenage girls. Yes, that's the one. Welcome to our second vlog of 2022. Today we're going to be talking about breaking bad phone habits. Got lots of those, I'm sure we all do. But before we jump in, I want to remind you to subscribe to our channel and to tick that like button. So let's talk about how do we break bad phone habits? How do we nail it? Because it's not always an easy thing to do to break any bad habit. First of all, let's look at what some of the bad habits are. One might be looking at your phone repeatedly while you're in the company of another person, and using your phone at meal times, whether it's at the dinner table or at lunch. If you're just looking at it, it's there in case it rings, checking your social media, and playing with your phone while you're at school or at a meeting or just in the company of someone else. And then, of course, sleeping with your phone, or at least with it nearby. And the idea there is the phone is the first thing that you see when you wake up in the morning. It's the last thing that you see when you go to sleep at night, and sometimes in the middle of the night. So some of you might be saying, what's the problem? Everybody's doing it. These are norms today. Well, I have to tell you, these norms are bad habits, and here's why. They are rude, can be isolating, distracting, and disconnecting. But also, it's irritating and aggravating, and often sleep depriving when we're just obsessed with our phone in this habitual way. So, how do we break these bad phone habits? Well, according to neuroscientists, this is not an easy task. It's much easier said than done because, habits are, they're just that. They're habitual. It is the way our brain is designed. Once we form a habit, we do it on autopilot quite often. So that's why it's so difficult to just break a bad habit out of willpower. And also because we feel guilty about something. Even when we know that it's a bad habit, we recognize it, but we talk ourselves out of it and we can't do it. So it can be done. It is absolutely something that can be nailed. So let's look at how to do that. The first thing is to notice the habit, because that's very important, to notice that it is a bad habit instead of saying, well, everybody's doing it, so what's the big deal? It's not hurting me. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is to become, I would say, intensely aware of it in such a way that you experience, the bad habit in real time for what it really is. How does talking on the telephone in the company of another person make you feel? How does it make them feel? If it makes you feel guilty, if it makes you feel bad about yourself, then it's not really serving you. So that's the third thing. If it doesn't serve you, you begin to just not really feel good about it, and you're very aware now that it has to go. And this is really good, because this is when the brain kicks in and you're able to let it go. You're able to nail it. Brain gets fed up and sort of updates that this habit does not reward us, it doesn't serve us. And so that's it. That's how you break that habit. I want to give you an example of how I nailed breaking a bad habit in my early 20s. And this was to do with being addicted to drinking colas. So when I was living in New York City, I would stop by a bagel shop every morning before I went into the office, before I went to work. And I would buy a bagel with cream cheese and a cola. And I would take those to my desk, and that would be my breakfast every day for X number of years. And of course, I would have several more colas throughout the day. And, I knew that it was a caffeine trap. I was getting my caffeine hit from it. It was also a sugar overload of sugar. And I guess that's where I got my energy from. And I knew it wasn't necessarily good for me. And I had tried to give it up, but I just didn't have the willpower to do it. It was only when I was in my 30s that I began to have palpitations. And I was able to notice that this happened when or after I had drank a cola. And so experiencing this in real time, repeatedly, within weeks, I recognized that it was not good for me. It no longer served me. And I recognized also that it was like yuck, very sickly sweet, too much caffeine and all the rest. And I was able to now let loose the actual bad habit. And so it is time for us to begin to think about those phones again. Is your phone actually serving you in real time, or are you serving it? I need you to think about, and notice how you feel when you're doing something that is a bad habit with your phone, and then become intensely aware and experience, the feelings. How does it make you feel? And then when it really doesn't serve you anymore, that is when you get fed up. That is when your brain gets fed up and you're able to lose the bad habit. Well, thank you so much for watching this vlog on nailing our bad phone habits. And if you want to get more information about phone etiquette, check out our podcast with Nicola Morgan. It's called Your Online Wellbeing Inside Out. In the meantime, take care of you inside out. And remember, it is you I owe.